George Economou is a Greek shipping magnate with a reputation for using hardball strategies to gain control over companies. In August 2023, he launched a hostile tender offer to acquire all of Performance Shipping's outstanding common stock at $3 per share. However, with CEO Andreas Michailopoulos controlling approximately 90% of the voting rights, Mr. Economou lost the battle, but still controls a significant portion of the company. Now, Economou has set his sights on Genco Shipping, sparking another intense corporate battle. At the beginning of the year, he acquired a significant stake in Genco, aiming to influence the company's strategic direction by nominating his own candidate to the board. This move led to a heated proxy fight, with both sides even engaging in public disputes. So the question is, why is Mr. Economou interested in this company, and how has Genco Shipping responded to this attempt at a hostile takeover? Well, without much ado, let's get into it. George Economou began his career in the shipping industry in the early 1980s, quickly making a name for himself with his bold investments and acquisitions. He founded Cardiff Marine in 1986, which became the cornerstone of his shipping empire. However, one of his most notable successes was the establishment of Dry Ships Inc. in 2004, a company that rapidly grew to become one of the largest dry bulk shipping companies globally. Under Economou's leadership, Dry Ships expanded its fleet and diversified its operations, achieving a substantial market presence. However, his tenure at Dry Ships was also marked by controversy, with accusations of self-dealing and corporate governance issues. Economou was accused of selling ships owned by his private companies to Dry Ships at inflated prices and using company funds to finance personal ventures. Since then, Economou has been known for his aggressive business tactics, often taking significant stakes in companies and pushing for strategic changes to the companies. With such a storied past, it's no surprise that Economou's next move would stir the waters at Genco. Now, let's explore how his entrance sparked a wave of resistance. The conflict between George Economou and Genco Shipping began with Economou's strategic acquisition of a 5.3% stake in the company. This move, executed through his affiliate, GK Investor LLC, signaled the onset of a significant power struggle within the maritime shipping industry. Economou's stake represented a substantial portion of Genco shares, making him one of the largest individual stakeholders in the company. This significant investment raised eyebrows within the industry and among Genco's management, as it suggested that Economou had plans to assert considerable influence over the company's operations. This was particularly concerning for Genco's board, which had been focused on executing a comprehensive value strategy aimed at enhancing shareholder value. Known for his past conflicts with other companies and his relentless pursuit of business objectives, Economou's involvement in Genco was bound to be disruptive. His history suggested that he was prepared for a battle and would employ whatever tactics necessary to achieve his goal. As tensions rose, Economou's reputation for ruthless strategies came to the forefront. So how did his notorious maneuvers play out in his quest for Genco? While serving as CEO of Dry Ships Inc., Economou made one of his most notable moves with the acquisition of Ocean Rig, a deepwater drilling company. This acquisition drew considerable attention due to the methods employed by Economou to gain control. Economou utilized a series of stock dilutions as a primary tactic to facilitate the acquisition of Ocean Rig. By issuing new shares, often at favorable terms to himself or entities he controlled, Economou effectively devalued the existing shares held by other shareholders. This practice allowed him to consolidate control over the company without having to negotiate with or fairly compensate existing shareholders. Moreover, Economou's business dealings were frequently marred by apparent conflicts of interest. Transactions between Dry Ships and other companies controlled by Economou often seemed to disproportionately benefit him personally. His tactics also led to numerous lawsuits from disgruntled shareholders who felt that their investments were unfairly diluted. They argued that the company's governance under Economou was not aligned with their best interests. With stakes higher than ever, Economou didn't just stop at acquisitions. He launched into a full-blown proxy war. What was his strategy? Now, as soon as Economou announced his 5.3 stake in Genco through GK Investor LLC, he initiated a campaign to nominate Robert Ponce to the Genco board. However, this move did not sit well with the shareholders. Economou's campaign was aggressive and highly publicized. He sought to position Robert Pons, a seasoned executive with substantial experience in corporate governance, as a director on Genco's board. This nomination was part of a broader strategy to challenge the existing board's decisions and push for changes that Economou believed would unlock greater shareholder value. Economou argued that Genco's current management was not fully capitalizing on opportunities and that fresh leadership was necessary to drive the company forward. He sent letters to shareholders and made a series of public statements aimed at rallying shareholder support. However, Genco swiftly responded with their own communications, outlining the risks associated with Economou's campaign and reinforcing their strategic vision. The board firmly rejected the nomination of Robert Pons, citing their confidence in the existing management team and the strategic plan they had in place. Genco's leadership emphasized their ongoing efforts to enhance shareholder value through a comprehensive strategy initiated in 2021. They argued that the disruption caused by Economou's proxy fight would be detrimental to the company's progress and stability. This public clash extended to independent proxy advisory firms like Institutional Shareholder Services and Glass Lewis, which reviewed the situation and ultimately supported Genco's board. These firms advised shareholders to vote in favor of the existing board members, reinforcing the board's position that their strategic direction was effective and that Economou's involvement posed unnecessary risks. Institutional investors have voting rights that carry significant weight, and their decisions are often guided by long-term considerations of stability, governance practices, and strategic vision. The backing of these investors underscored a broader trust in Genco's current leadership and their ability to navigate market challenges effectively. Despite facing stiff resistance, Economou was relentless, voicing sharp criticisms and pushing for dramatic changes. But what exactly was he proposing? In his public statements and letters to Genco shareholders, Economou laid out various criticisms, calling for immediate changes in the company's strategic direction and leadership. He urged shareholders to support his proposals for board nominations, arguing that new leadership was necessary to steer Genco toward a more prosperous future. One of Economou's primary criticisms centered on Genco's capital allocation strategy. He believed that the company needed to deploy its capital efficiently, missing out on opportunities to invest in newer, more efficient vessels that could enhance profitability. Economou asserted that Genco's fleet was aging and that the company was lagging behind its competitors in terms of fleet renewal and modernization. This, he argued, was a critical strategic misstep that could erode Genco's competitive edge in the long run. Additionally, Economou also took issue with Genco's corporate governance practices, where he claimed that the board was not sufficiently independent and was too closely aligned with the existing management, leading to a lack of accountability and oversight. He pushed for greater transparency and better alignment of management incentives with shareholder interests. In his view, the board's composition needed to change to include more directors who were willing to challenge the status quo and drive meaningful reforms. However, he ultimately failed as the board rejected him. Faced with mounting challenges and opposition, Economou made a surprising pivot. So what led him to withdraw his nomination and claim a partial victory? The culmination of the proxy fight between George Economou and Genco Shipping took a surprising turn when Economou announced his decision to withdraw his board nominee, Robert Pons. Economou's decision to withdraw Pons from the nomination process was communicated in mid-May 2024. In his statement, Economou cited several reasons for this unexpected move. Firstly, he acknowledged the strong opposition he faced from Genco's board and a significant portion of its shareholders. Despite his vigorous campaign and detailed critiques of Genco's management, Economou recognized that he needed to garner the necessary support to secure a successful vote in favor of his nominee. Another factor influencing his decision was the strategic victories he claimed to have already achieved. Economou argued that his campaign had already served as a catalyst for positive changes within Genco. He believed that his critiques and the pressure he exerted had forced Genco's management to address shareholder concerns more transparently and to adopt measures that would ultimately enhance the company's value. By withdrawing his nominee, Economou positioned himself as a catalyst for change, suggesting that his intervention had already yielded significant results. In the aftermath of the withdrawal, Genco's management also took steps to reinforce its governance framework. They announced plans to review and potentially expand the board with directors who could bring additional expertise and independence, thereby strengthening the board's oversight capabilities. These measures were designed to address some of the criticisms raised by Economou and to ensure that the board remained responsive to shareholder concerns. With the dust settling on the proxy war, let's now assess the ripple effects on Genco's stock and the broader implications for its future. You see, before the proxy war, Genco's stock had been trading below its net asset value, a point of contention for Economou, who saw it as evidence of poor capital allocation by the board. During the proxy fight, Genco's stock experienced fluctuations as investors reacted to the unfolding drama. Initially, the stock saw a slight uptick as Economou's involvement sparked speculation about potential changes that could enhance shareholder value. However, the volatility continued as the proxy fight intensified, reflecting the uncertainty and divided opinions among investors. Following the withdrawal of Economou's nomination and the conclusion of the proxy war, Genco's stock saw a period of relative stability. The company's market position strengthened as shareholders and investors reacted positively to the end of the internal conflict. The board's reaffirmation of its comprehensive value strategy, coupled with strong performance metrics and market conditions, bolstered investor confidence. The board's ability to fend off Economou's aggressive campaign was also seen as a validation of their governance practices and strategic direction. This outcome reinforced the board's commitment to maintaining strong governance standards and transparency. Additionally, the endorsement from independent proxy advisor firms like Institutional Shareholder Services and Glass Lewis further cemented the board's legitimacy and governance framework. So what are your thoughts on this failed takeover? Do you think George Economou will re-strategize and come back strong, or is the battle over? Let us know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more insightful stories like this.